Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us for tonight's Caucus of the Whole event. I'm going to give everyone about 20 to 30 seconds or so as people are filtering in from the waiting room, and then we'll go ahead and get started shortly. Okay, with that, let's go ahead and officially get started for today's Caucus of the Whole event. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jonathan Fong, and I currently have the honor and privilege of serving as your Circle K International President. Tonight, we're going to have the opportunity to hear from a variety of candidates seeking international office, hearing both about their platforms and hearing their responses to a series of pre-selected questions that we have. As a reminder, to keep this process as fair as possible, we kindly request for everyone to refrain from communicating with any of our declared candidates during this session. With that, it's my pleasure to officially call tonight's session to order. At this time, we will officially nominate individuals to serve as candidates for the office of International President, International Vice President, as well as International Trustee. Following the nominations process, we'll have the opportunity to hear from them directly on why they're running and what their visions for our organization include. To review all of the candidate videos and information, please go to circlek.org/convention. As a heads up, some candidates were not able to attend tonight's event. However, their platforms and candidate videos are still available on tonight's website. At this time, we'll do a broad overview of how Caucus of the Whole will work. Each verified candidate will first be nominated and then accept their nomination. Afterwards, they'll have the opportunity to make individual presentations and answer questions that were previously selected by the Elections Committee. No other candidates seeking the same office will be permitted in the main room while they are speaking. Instead, they will be placed into a breakout room with our Kiwanis Youth Programs Director, Michelle Shilton. International President and Vice Presidential candidates will be permitted to speak for up to 4 minutes. This includes up to 1 minute of candidate introduction, which is optional. President and Vice Presidential candidates will then be asked the same pre-selected questions that were pre-submitted by the Elections Committee. A maximum of 3 questions will be asked for up to 3 minutes, whichever limit is reached first. Then, trustee candidates will be permitted to speak for up to 3 minutes, again inclusive of up to 1 minute of candidate introduction, which again is optional. Candidates will then be asked the same pre-selected trustee questions that were pre-submitted by the Elections Committee. A maximum of 3 questions will be asked once again for up to 3 minutes, whichever limit is reached first. International Trustee Emily Daly will be serving as tonight's official timekeeper. Speakers, please keep an eye on Emily during your time. When there are 30 seconds remaining, she will virtually raise her hand to notify the speaker. When your time has elapsed, the speaker will be automatically muted and we will proceed to the next steps. Candidate presentations will be in alphabetical order. At this time, we'll now transition into nominations. Before the candidates speak tonight, they must be nominated and seconded for their respective offices. When nominating or seconding, please state your full name and home club. We will start with candidates for International President, then International Vice President, and finally, International Trustee. At this time, I now open the floor for nominations for the office of International President. Are there any nominations for the office of International President?
Hey y'all, my name is Dylan Weinrich. I'm a member of the CKI Club at Louisiana State University, and I'm honored to nominate my good friend Tyler Rosado for the position of International President.
Thank you, Dylan. Is there a second for that nomination?
Hi, my name's Isabella Ryan from North Carolina State University Circle K, and I second the nomination.
Thank you, Isabella. Tyler, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I humbly accept the nomination.
Thank you so much. Are there any other nominations for the office of International President?
I, Brooke Ehorn from the University of Cincinnati CKI Club, nominate Neha Possibility for the office of International President.
Thank you, Brooke. Is there a second?
I, Jordan Schwartz from the Ohio State University Circle K, second that nomination.
Thank you, Jordan. Neha, do you accept your nomination?
I do accept that nomination. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Neha. Are there any additional nominations for the office of International President? Are there any additional nominations for the office of International President? Hearing none, I now close nominations for the office of International President. At this time, I now transition to open the floor for nominations for the office of International Vice President. Are there any nominations for the office of International Vice President?
Hey guys, I, Faison Aziz from the University of Michigan Club, nominate Ananya Bomenini for the office of International Vice President.
Thank you, Faison. Is there a second?
I, Jumana Kamaluddin from the University of Michigan Dearborn CKI Club, second this nomination.
Thank you, Jumana. Ananya, do you accept your nomination?
I accept the nomination. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Are there any other nominations for the office of International Vice President?
Excuse me. Hey everyone. My name is Jordan Collymore from the CKI Club of the University of West Georgia, and I nominate Brandon Denson for the office of International Vice President.
Thank you, Jordan. Is there a second?
Hi, my name is Kim Patrick Hudson. I am a part of the CKI from Georgia Southern chapter. I second the motion.
Thank you so much, Brandon. Do you accept your nomination?
I, Brandon Dixon, accept the nomination. Thank you.
Awesome. Are there any other nominations for the office of International Vice President?
Hi, good night. I, Jen Patterson, nominate Shraddha Srikanth for the position of International Vice President from the Ivy University College.
Thank you, Gideon. Is there a second?
Dylan Moore, California State University, Sacramento, second.
Thank you. Shraddha, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I accept my nominations. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. Are there any other nominations for the office of International Vice President?
I, Tyler Rosado, nominate from the NC State CKI, nominate Dylan Weinrich for the office of International Vice President.
Thank you, Tyler. Is there a second?
I, Sophie Melody, University at Buffalo, second.
Thank you, Sophie. Dylan, do you accept your nomination?
I do. Thank you.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for the office of International Vice President? Are there any other nominations for the office of International Vice President? Hearing none, I now close the floor for nominations for the office of International Vice President. At this time, I now transition to open the floor for nominations for the office of International Trustee. Are there any nominations for the office of International Trustee?
I, Aiden Noon from Rocky Mountain College Circle K chapter, nominate Jetta Briggs for this position.
Thank you, Aiden. Is there a second?
I, Colin Pipinich from Montana State University, second that.
Thank you. Jetta, do you accept your nomination?
I do.
Perfect. Thank you. Are there any other nominations for the office of International Trustee?
Katie Shields from the CKI Club of the University of Wyoming nominate Valen Hiley for the position of International Trustee.
Perfect. Thank you. Is there a second?
I, Kaya Hurlis from the University of Wyoming Club, second this nomination.
Perfect. Thank you. Valen has preemptively accepted this nomination for International Trustee. Are there any other nominations for International Trustee?
I, Julian Patterson, nominate Shania James for the role of International Trustee from the University College.
Thank you, Julianne. Is there a second?
Dylan Moore, California State University, Sacramento, second.
Thank you, Dylan. Shanoya, do you accept your nomination?
Shanoya James, I accept the nomination for International Trustee.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for the office of International Trustee?
I, Julian Patterson, nominate Caesar Ocampo for the role of for International Trustee from the University College.
Thank you, Julianne. Is there a second?
Hi, Bobby Smith, Wichita State University, CKI, second.
Thank you. Caesar, do you accept your nomination?
I do.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for the office of International Trustee?
I, Annika King of the University of Maine Circle K Club, nominate Kirsten Marie Fairbrother for International Trustee.
Thank you, Annika. Are there any other, is there a second on that nomination?
I, Esperanza Boer of the American River College Circle K Club, second.
Thank you. Kirsta, do you accept your nomination?
I, Kirsten Marie Fairbrother, Merrimack, Circle K, accept this nomination.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations for the office of International Trustee?
I, Dylan Moore, California State University, Sacramento, nominate Ray Hoshi for trustee.
Thank you, Dylan. Is there a second on that nomination?
I, Josiah Anderson of University of California, Los Angeles, second.
Thank you. Ray, do you accept your nomination?
Yes, I, Ray Hoshi from University of California, Irvine, accept the nomination.
Perfect. Are there any other nominations for the office of International Trustee? Are there any other nominations for the office of International Trustee? Hearing none, I now close the floor for nominations for the office of International Trustee. As a reminder, we will open the floor for nominations during the opening session of International Convention. If you're considering running for the floor, please contact CKI Program Specialist Samantha Wagner ASAP by emailing her at swagner@kiwanis.org. That email will also be dropped in the chat momentarily. At this time, we will begin moving candidates for the office of International President to their breakout room to wait until their turn to speak. And then give us a moment as we're getting all set up. Okay, with this in mind, let's go ahead and proceed with the candidates for the office of International President. At this time, it is my pleasure to officially introduce our first candidate, Neha Pasupuletti. Neha, you may provide your remarks whenever you're ready. My apologies, Neha is not in the room yet. Let me make sure she gets moved back out. Give us 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, sorry about that. Let's go ahead and restart. So with that, it is now my pleasure to officially introduce our first presidential candidate, Neha Pasupuletti. Neha, you may provide your remarks whenever you're ready. Your time will begin when you officially start speaking.
Alrighty, can y'all hear me okay? So, hi everyone. My name is Neha Pasupuletti, and I am running to be your next Circle K International President. I'm a rising fourth year at The Ohio State University, and I'm entering my 9th year in the Kiwanis family. And if I'm being honest, when I first committed to Ohio State, I wasn't sure if I was going to join CKI. I had just graduated from a really small high school, and I was suddenly going to be starting school at one of the largest universities in the US. And I was worried if CKI was going to be that right space for me and if it was going to be what would make me feel like I belonged. I came to learn that a lot of students and a lot of younger people nowadays are starting to feel a lot more lonely. In fact, the World Health Organization has declared that we're in this epidemic of being physically together but feeling emotionally distant from one another. And it's hitting our youngest people the hardest. I thought this was so crazy because in college, we're surrounded by so many people, especially when you go to a university of 60,000 students. But we're always looking for something more. And I believe that's what CKI provides. It offers a space for connection through community service. Every time I've gotten to attend a service project within my home club or within my own district, I leave feeling a sense of belonging. CKI has taught me how to be more intentional, not only with how I spend my time, but more importantly, who I spend it with. Because even though we've got a lot going on in our world, we all know the impact a single act of service can have. And we do it together by choosing CKI. 2 years ago, I got to serve as the Ohio District Governor, and under my leadership, we were able to achieve membership growth despite a dues increase. We chartered several new clubs and saw increase at district events. Since then, I've been able to witness how much this organization has changed and the impact that it's continued to have along the world. Building on this foundation, when I just decided to pursue the role of vice president, I knew I wanted to do big things. And when you all elected me to this role last year, I was able to amount to so much incredible progress. I launched 5 new international committees, championed the Give a Day to CKI initiative, published our quarterly board books, and hosted our district executive trainings. Throughout my years in CKI, I've been able to see it from all of the levels we have at the club, district, and international level. And I'm excited to see what I can do this next year as your president. I plan on implementing a strategic roadmap that's centered around 3 big priorities. First, we need to see membership growth and sustainability. In order to expand CKI's impact, we need to make sure that we're bringing in more people into our organization. One practical way that I plan on doing this is by creating a club health dashboard, which is essentially a spreadsheet to help us monitor our club growth. I also want to continue the work that our committees did by hosting a 2nd annual global membership rally and run targeted charter campaigns, because we need our clubs not just to recruit members, but to keep those members beyond just their first year. I also want to continue strengthening the Key Club to CKI pipeline, as well as our Kiwanis family relations. I know that it's a great opportunity, and I want to continue expanding that so that way our transitions between the Kiwanis family are seamless. Third, I want to support our non-districted regions. It's important that every club feels like they belong in this organization. I want to continue the personalized outreach that our president this year delivered and ensure that these territories have the resources and connections they need to thrive. CKI is full of people who do incredible things, people who do what's right even when no one's watching. It's been my honor and privilege serving as your vice president this past year, and I'm so proud of everything our organization has been able to achieve this year. Thank you all for this opportunity, and I look forward to choosing CKI alongside you as we enter this new service year. Thank you.
Thank you, Neha. At this time, we will now begin the 3-minute Q&A period. Starting with question 1. Looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring the long-term sustainability of CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted and or elevated to facilitate growth?
So adding on to that question, I know that our leaders have done an incredible job at equipping our clubs with the resources they need to do the best that they can do. But I think we need to expand that strategy to make sure our members keep coming back. One thing I'm really excited about is the lifetime membership dues amendment, which was actually originated from the Vision Task Force that I served on in 2025. Beyond that, I'd also like to explore a way that we could kind of reposition our membership benefits to reward our multi-year members, and ultimately encourage our clubs and districts to celebrate those members who show up every year. I also think we can expand that by building on the strategic roadmaps that our governors planned out at GATSI to really drive that retention and membership recruitment plans. And at the end of the day, I think all of this can really be done by social media, which can really amplify CKI's value and continue to showcase the value that we bring to every college campus.
Perfect. Question 2. While CKI successfully ended the 2024 to 25 service year with membership growth and a record number of new charters and reactivations, our organization continues to struggle with decreasing club size. In your opinion, how can CKI effectively balance both the quality and quantity of our clubs as they're being formed, maintained, and sustained?
So to start off with that question, I want to talk about some of my experience serving as the Ohio District Governor, because in that role, I was able to directly work with the clubs within my district. And so one thing that I mentioned earlier I was able to do was sustaining membership and chartering growth. But that doesn't just happen, overnight. I think it really happens through developing those personal connections and relationships with people. And that's something that I want to continue to do, not just with my board, not just with the governors that I'll work with next year, but with the club leaders that we're working to support. One thing that I think we can kind of expand on as we look to continue our recruitment methods is looking at different ways of not only how we recruit, but when. I think first years aren't our only demographic that we're trying to attract. Maybe we can expand and develop new resources to attract transfer students, or even just personalized resources for recruiting members in the spring. Like I mentioned, I also want to incorporate more spreadsheets to include more data-driven solutions. And one thing with the Club Health Dashboard that I hope to implement is to allow our governors to constantly be able to monitor their club's year-to-year progress. I think the real work with bringing in more people into CKI is giving them reasons to stay. And like we talked about, we really want to make sure that they have that good experience at their local club.
Perfect. And then finally, question 3. If elected as CKI International President, one of your primary responsibilities will include representing our organization to the Kiwanis family. How will you use this role to improve the Key Club to CKI pipeline and ensure sustained membership?
So in order to strengthen the pipeline, I think we can build upon the work that our committees have done this year. So we continue to have the international webinars. I think those should be delivered locally to our key clubs. So giving those resources to the hands of governors as well as our local club leaders will be able to do that. I also want to meet quarterly with our Kiwanis and Key Club International presidents, or at least make sure I have constant communication with our Kiwanis board counselor to make sure that CKI's priorities are aligned with Kiwanis and Key Clubs as well. I also think that these resources that we're creating to bring in more high school students and especially attract first-year members shouldn't just be for Key Club, because I know that not every CKI member is a Key Club member.
Okay, time is up.
Okay, thank you, Neha. At this time, we will begin transitioning to our next candidate. Please give us a few seconds as we're getting everything set up. Okay, at this time, it is my pleasure to officially introduce our second presidential candidate, Tyler Rosado. Tyler, you may provide your remarks whenever you're ready. Your time will begin when you officially begin speaking.
Good evening, Circle K International. My name is Tyler Rosado, and long before I was a candidate for Circle K International President, I was a freshman in high school where I first began my K family journey. As an eager and excited new Key Clubber, I was ready to serve my community, develop my leadership, and make a difference in the lives of others. It would only be a few months later when the entire world would shut down. The COVID-19 pandemic presented endless challenges and a misguided belief that service would come to an end. Like so many others, I found myself wondering what service could even look like in a world that had suddenly gone virtual. But I remember approaching my Key Club advisor with an idea to create an online service project. Neither of us knew exactly what that would look like. She didn't have all the answers, and neither did I, but what we did have was a willingness to believe in each other and a commitment to discover the answer together. Rather than focusing on the obstacles in front of us, we focused on the possibilities ahead of us. Thanks to the perseverance of fellow student volunteers and the advisor who believed in me, that idea grew into the first virtual poetry slam in our community, addressing youth literacy while raising over $1,000 for the Boys and Girls Club. Looking back, that experience taught me the truth behind a quote from Frederick Douglass. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. I've seen that same truth through my Circle K journey. In my home club, when uncertainty threatened our future, our members refused to accept decline as an option, ensuring that after 65 years of service, our club would remain strong for generations to come. Later, as Carolina's district governor, I saw clubs across the Carolinas rise to meet fundraising challenges and fiscal uncertainty brought on by federal funding crises. In both moments, success did not come from ideal circumstances. It came from people who believed in their ability to make a difference and acted on that belief. The power to make a difference already existed within our club, within our members, and within our mission to serve. But only when we were bold enough to believe in the power of service did we rise to the challenge and achieve what was once thought impossible. Power is not something we inherit. Power is something we create when we refuse to accept the limits others place on our potential. I have risen above the limits by running for this office, and I'm joined by many of you here tonight doing the same, refusing to accept the limits. Beyond this, I'm running because I believe in Circle K International, even when other voices stand against us. I believe we can create new pathways into our organization so no future leader is left without a place to belong. I believe we can expand our outreach by telling the stories that prove our impact and inspire others to join our mission. I believe we must demonstrate our worth through stronger partnerships in the K family. I believe in empowering members at every level to challenge expectations and innovate with confidence. And I believe in retaining our members by connecting everyone to a person or project that fills them with CKI pride. I'm not the status quo candidate merely running to manage what already exists. I'm fighting for what I know is possible. My name is Tyler Rosado, and I am ready to answer your questions tonight and ask for your support, because together we will all be a part of the coalition that takes Circle K International to the heights we were always meant to reach. Thank you.
Thank you, Tyler. At this time, we will now begin the 3-minute question period. First, looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring the long-term sustainability of CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted or elevated to facilitate growth?
Well, for me, I know that what keeps me coming back to Circle K International is the diversity within our organization. We have people from every background and walk of life, and people with all sorts of passions for how they want to serve. I know for myself as an educator, I'm passionate about projects that get me in classrooms and schools, helping the youth in our community, but I know we have folks interested in environmental sustainability and access to proper dental care and everything else in between. And so it's important that we reach out to folks and let them know that no matter what their passion is or which pathway they wish to take, they have a place in our organization. And so part of my platform is all about outreach, because I would seek to let people know that no matter what they're passionate about, they have the ability to create that project or find that project within Circle K International, leading to overall sustainable growth.
Thank you. Question 2. While CKI successfully ended the 2024 to 25 service year with membership growth and a record number of new charters and reactivations, our organization continues to struggle with decreasing club size. How can CKI effectively balance both the quality and quantity of our clubs as they're being formed, maintained, and sustained?
Well, this question really touches on the R part of my platform, which is all about retention. It's not only important that we recruit new members every year, but that we retain them for years to come. And so I would implement, as international president, a stay for something framework where I would ask our individual clubs to record the data as to what keeps members coming back, whether it's from week to week, month to month, or even semester to semester. It's important that we address this and consider what is bringing people back, so that way we can replicate it and be intentional about our recruitment processes. I know in my home club, people love our haunted house event because it gets them right in the community working with kids around Halloween. But for some other clubs, maybe the thing that brings people back is your culture of connectivity, the fact that folks can make a couple of friends that they'll want to see throughout their college experience. And so either way, it's important that we document this so that way clubs can be intentional about what they talk about when tabling or when creating social media content, so that folks keep coming back year after year.
Thank you, Tyler. And then last question, if elected as CKI International President, one of your primary responsibilities will include representing our organization to the Kiwanis family. How will you use this role to improve the Key Club to CKI pipeline and ensure sustained membership?
Well, as a former Key Clubber and current CKI member, I can say that I was blessed to come to a school that already had a thriving CKI club. But as district governor, I know there are many folks here in the Carolinas, Key Clubbers, who would come to us and say, we really want to join CKI, but there's not already a club existing at our school. And while I know there are plenty of success stories out there of freshmen chartering a new club in their first year, it's not always sustainable for everyone depending on their circumstance. And so what I would suggest in part of my platform is that every district create an E-club that could capture these members from their freshman year of college. That way, as a key clubber, you know that you're going into something familiar, and even if there's not already an existing club, you can learn about CKI, what makes it different and what makes it special, and what makes it so important that you then go on in your sophomore or junior year and charter a new club with the 15 required members and beyond. This way, not only are we creating new clubs that are, more sustainable, but we're also creating clubs that are passionate about attending district convention and international convention, overall contributing to the health of our organization.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tyler. At this time, that marks the end of our international president candidates. At this time, we will now begin moving candidates for international vice president to their breakout rooms to wait until their turn to speak. Thank you to both Tyler as well as Neha. Similar to before, we kindly ask for everyone's patience as we're getting our 4 vice president candidates prepared. Thank you for everyone's patience. At this time, we will now move on to the candidates for international vice president. As previously stated, candidates will be announced and given the opportunity to speak based on alphabetical order. At this time, we will now hear from CKI vice presidential candidate Ananya Bomanini. Ananya, you may begin to provide your remarks whenever you're ready. Your time will begin whenever you start speaking.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Ananya Bomineni, and I'm a rising senior at the University of Michigan. I'm going into my 8th year in our Kiwanis family, and I can confidently say that it's irrevocably shaped who I am today. After 4 years in Key Club, my CKI journey has taken me from serving on a club committee to serving as a club president, district treasurer, district governor, international committee member, and international committee vice chair. As someone who's had the privilege of leading on every level of our organization, I've learned what works, but also what we could do to be stronger. That's why I'm excited to be running to serve as your international vice president. One thing I've learned is that connection looks different at each level of our organization. Our clubs are built on personal connections with each other, and our districts thrive through inter-club collaboration. But at the international level, that sense of connection can feel further away, and that gap is something I want to help close. Connecting a global organization isn't easy, which is why International puts on webinars, rallies, and socials throughout the year. This past year, the International Board hit their goal of having 270 plus members attend their events. I'd like to build on that by creating an initiative aimed at getting at least 10 members from every district engaged with international programming throughout the year. With 33 organized districts, my goal would be to increase participation to at least 330 members. While these events matter, I also want to focus on creating opportunities for connection that are accessible year-round. One area of improvement is creating tools for district officers to talk to each other. While governors connect at GATSI and again through monthly governor forums, there are very few opportunities for the other district positions to collaborate. I'd like to connect each respective district board position through a group chat or Slack channel, as well as host district executive forums for officers, so there are more opportunities to collaborate and share ideas. To help close the gap between international and our members, I'd like to introduce a president and vice president newsletter, along with short videos that districts and clubs can share at events and meetings. We should be the ones putting in the work to connect with our members, and international leadership should be visible and present and not just names on a website. I want to continue the progress we've made this year with our international committees. Committees are one of the best ways that members can get involved beyond their home club or district, but in order for them to be successful, members need to feel prepared and supported. I'd like to make committee training a mandatory prerequisite before serving on a committee, with alternate options for those who can't attend live. I also want to maintain contact with members serving on our committees. This past year, we had 7 out of 25 active committee members fill out the committee feedback form. To improve this, I'd like to meet directly with committee members each quarter, giving them another opportunity to share feedback in a more personal setting, while still maintaining the anonymous feedback form for those who prefer it. Finally, when it comes to growth, I believe strengthening the pipeline between Key Club and CKI is essential. One of the most successful recruitment tools I used as club president was a directory I received from our Michigan district governor containing the names and emails of graduating Key Club members attending the University of Michigan. Using this, I personally reached out to those incoming freshmen, and as a result, our club saw a 95% increase in membership to 39 members. Based on this success, I want to work closely with Key Club International to ensure this directory is expanded and promoted with our club leaders. My proposals tonight, aimed at strengthening connection, increasing support, and growing our membership, are grounded in my experiences as well as conversations with the past 3 international vice presidents about what this role can accomplish. I have no doubt that these goals can become realities, and I'd be honored to have the opportunity to make them happen. Thank you.
Thank you, Ananya. At this time, we will now move on to the 3-minute question period. Question 1. Looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring the long-term sustainability of CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted and/or elevated to facilitate growth?
When it comes to recruitment, I always like to ask people what they look for in an organization. And depending on whether they say they're looking for friends, professional development, or service opportunities, I'm able to tailor my pitch towards that. I think CKI genuinely has it all, and one of our greatest strengths are the opportunities we give members to grow beyond their home club. Regardless of which of our 3 tenets they resonate with, they're able to serve on district boards, join international committees, attend conventions, and build friendships with members from across the world. These opportunities are what retain members long term. That's why I always say there's a place for everyone in CKI, and I think we should do a better job of promoting the different ways that members can find their place within our organization.
Perfect. Question 2. While CKI successfully ended the 2024 to 25 service year with membership growth and a record number of new charters and reactivations, our organization continues to struggle with decreasing club size. How can CKI effectively balance both the quantity and quality of the clubs as they're being formed, maintained, and sustained?
I don't think that quantity and quality have to be competing priorities, because a new club with 10 engaged members can have a greater impact than a larger club where only a handful of members are actively participating. As we continue chartering and reactivating clubs, I think our focus should be on sustainability. That means making sure that new clubs have access to mentorship, resources, and support during their first few years. This past year, I served on Michigan District's new club building committee, and the Michigan District was able to charter and reactivate 4 clubs. I saw that the clubs that were more likely to succeed were the ones where the leaders felt supported and felt like they had people to turn to for guidance. One example of a support that we could provide is our club and district officer guides. These are beneficial to clubs as they're starting out and getting a feel for their leadership roles, but they haven't been updated since 2020, which is why one of my goals is to update them. I think when club leaders feel prepared and supported, they're better equipped to recruit members and create the kind of club experience that retains people long term.
Thank you. And then finally, last question. If elected as CKI International Vice President, one of your primary responsibilities will include leading and supporting the international committees, an important component of executing international initiatives. What is one significant change you'd like to make to the current structure of our international committees, and why?
So I previously discussed making the committee training a mandatory prerequisite for members who want to serve on the international committees. As both a international committee member and the committee vice chair, I've seen how much of a committee's success depends on everyone having a shared understanding of their responsibilities and expectations. I think across the board, I've noticed a pattern of attendance and engagement declining in the committees as the year goes on. One change I'd like to implement is a standardized attendance tracking system for committee leadership. The goal is to identify when someone might be disengaging and reach out early on. So if a committee member misses several meetings, that gives committee leadership and myself an opportunity to check in, understand what's going on, and see how we can better support them. I think by providing stronger onboarding, clearer expectations, and more consistent support, we can create a more consistent experience across all of the committees and help members stay engaged and contribute meaningfully.
Thank you, Ananya. At this time, we'll now begin transitioning to our second candidate. At this time, we will hear from our second candidate for the office of CKI International Vice President, Brandon Denson. Brandon, you may provide your remarks whenever you're ready. Your time will begin when you officially start speaking.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brandon Denson, and I am a rising junior majoring in finance and political science with a minor in criminal justice at Kennesaw State University here in the Georgia District. Service has always been one of my favorite tenets of Circle K International because service changes lives. Over the past 2 years as a college student, I have dedicated more than 1,700 hours to serving communities and developing leaders. Through those experiences, I've learned that service is about more than just numbers. It's about the people we meet, the communities we strengthen, and the leaders we inspire along the way. Behind every successful project, thriving club, and meaningful impact is a leader who chose to step forward. Through my experiences serving at the club, district, and international levels, I've learned that when leaders are supported, connected, and empowered, entire communities benefit. That belief is what inspired my vision for the future of Circle K International. As your international vice president, my focus will be on strengthening communication, developing leaders, and ensuring every leader has access to the resources they need to succeed. Too often, valuable ideas, opportunities, and resources exist within our organization, yet many leaders are simply unaware of them. To address this, I will implement monthly check-ins with committee chairs and vice chairs, along with bi-monthly conversations that include governors. These intentional touchpoints will create opportunities to share progress, collaborate on challenges, and build stronger connections across our organization. I also want to expand opportunities for growth beyond just traditional leadership roles, whether through professional development, mentorship, networking, or sharing successful practices between districts. We should be investing in members, not only as volunteers, but as future leaders in their communities, careers, and beyond. Most importantly, I believe leadership should be accessible. Some of the most impactful moments in CKI don't happen during meetings or at conventions. They happen when a leader needs guidance, encouragement, or simply someone who believes in them. I've learned that leadership is not just about directing people, it's about empowering them. My campaign is built around LEAF, leaders impacting every future. To me, LEAF is more than a slogan. It's a reminder that every action we take today shapes someone else's tomorrow. When we support a governor, we strengthen a district. When we invest in a club officer, we strengthen a club. When we encourage a member to step into leadership, we create opportunities that can impact every future for years to come. The future of Circle K International will not be determined by one international vice president. It will be determined by the leaders we empower, the connections we build, and the confidence we inspire in others. If elected, my commitment is simple: to ensure every leader feels supported, every voice feels heard, and every member has the opportunity to grow. Because leadership is not about the position we hold, it's about the future we leave behind. Together, let's create that future. Together, let's leave it. My name is Brandon Denson, and I will be honored to serve as your next International Vice President. I can see the rest of my time.
Thank you, Brandon. At this time, we will now begin the 3-minute question period. Question 1. Looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring the long-term sustainability of CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted or elevated to promote growth?
For me, membership growth starts with showing people why CKI matters. Because of that, I believe 3 areas should be elevated: service, leadership development, and connection. Service is what attracts many members initially, but leadership opportunities and meaningful relationships are what encourages them to stay. We need to continue highlighting not only the impact of our projects, but also the growth members experience through serving others. Additionally, we should increase awareness of committees, workshops, and international opportunities so members can see a pathway for continued involvement. This can be done through the bi-monthly and monthly check-ins with the entire committee group and the governors. When members feel connected, supported, and valued, they become more invested in the organization and help drive sustainable growth.
Thank you, Brandon. Question number 2. While CKI successfully ended the 2024 to 25 service year with membership growth and a record number of new charters and reactivations, our organization continues to struggle with decreasing club size. How can CKI effectively balance both the quantity and quality of our clubs as they're being formed, maintained, and sustained?
I believe the notion of quantity and quality should work hand in hand. While we expand our organization through new charters, reactivations is just as important. Our responsibility does not end once a club is established. It is also our job to help make sure that they are not only created with an intent to be sustainable, but that they are sustainable. We must continue investing in our officer development, mentorship, and accessible resources that help clubs succeed long term. Success should not only be measured by the number of clubs we have, but by the engagement and impact of those that we create. Through stronger communication and support systems, we can ensure clubs are not only formed, but sustained long term. By focusing on both growth and development, we can build stronger clubs that continue serving their campuses and communities for years to come.
Thank you. And then question 3. If elected as CKI International Vice President, one of your primary responsibilities will include leading and supporting the international committees, an important component for executing international initiatives. What is one significant change you'd like to make to the current structures of our international committees and why?
One significant change I would make is implementing more intentional communication and collaboration structures amongst the international committees and the governors. Throughout my service at the club, district, and international levels, I have seen passionate leaders doing incredible work, but often without opportunities to regularly share progress, challenges, or ideas with one another. If elected, I would implement monthly check-ins with committee chairs and vice chairs, along with the periodic collaboration meetings that encourage the exchange of ideas and best practices. This would improve transparency, strengthen accountability, and increase awareness of committee initiatives across the organization. Stronger community creates stronger leaders, and stronger leaders create a greater impact for our members and the future of CKI. At the end of the day, my goal is simple: to empower the leaders who will inevitably impact every future. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. At this time, we will now begin transitioning to our next international vice president candidate. Please give us a few seconds as we're moving everyone around in the breakout rooms. Brandon, please go ahead and head back to the breakout room.
I don't see one open on my end.
Okay, thank you for everyone's patience. At this time, we will now move on to our next candidate for international vice president. And our third candidate for international vice president will be Shraddha Shrikant. Shraddha, you may begin to provide your remarks whenever you're ready. Your time will start whenever you officially begin speaking.
Good evening, CKI. 7 years ago, I met David Bushell, a Kiwanian and mentor who supported our local Key Club. At the time, I was simply a new high school student who enjoyed volunteering and giving back to the community. David personally invited me, along with a few other members, to attend our district education and leadership conference. It was my first exposure to the Kiwanis family beyond my own school and showed the impact that service and leadership could have. If there was one thing that I learned from David, it was this. Leadership isn't about being the first through the door. It's about holding it open for the people who come after you. 7 years ago, David held that door for me. His encouragement inspired me to continue serving in Key Club, charter a CKI club at the University of Waterloo, and later serve as Eastern Canada District Governor, where I launched the Ripple Project to recognize the acts of leadership and kindness that often go unseen. Through every role I've held, I've learned that service is measured not only by the projects we complete, but by the people we uplift and the communities that we build together. My name is Shraddha Shrikant from the Eastern Canada District, and I'm honored to be here today as a candidate for International Vice President. Throughout my CKI journey as a chartering president, district governor, and international committee member, I've seen firsthand that leaders thrive when they feel connected and supported. If elected as your international vice president, I'm committed to holding that door open for our members in 3 ways. First, I want to ensure that our international committees leave behind a lasting impact. In addition to the committee meetings held throughout the service year, committees should create meaningful resources and opportunities that clubs can continue to benefit from long after the service year has ended. As International Vice President, I want to work alongside committees to identify outdated resources, address gaps in existing materials, and contribute to an international committee legacy library that future members can access. Whether that means updating recruitment resources or creating Key Club transition guides or developing icon first-timer guides, I want every committee to leave behind a legacy that serves future generations of CKI members. Secondly, I want to better support our district secretary treasurers and editors. They play an essential role in the success of our districts, yet much of their work happens behind the scenes. As International Vice President, I want to establish mentorship pairings between incoming district secretary treasurers and editors and past leaders who have found success in these positions. I also hope to create a resource exchange where district leaders can share best practices and learn from one another. Through webinars focused on district reporting and financial stewardship, I hope to empower these leaders to navigate their roles with confidence and continue strengthening their districts. Finally, I want to invest in the leaders who will shape the future of CKI. Many of tomorrow's district governors, trustees, and international officers begin their leadership journeys as general members and committee members. As a former district governor, I had the opportunity to attend GATSI, which was a governor and administrator training conference, where position-specific workshops, peer collaboration, and mentorship from experienced leaders helped prepare me for the year ahead. As International Vice President, I want to create similar opportunities for emerging leaders through intentional goal setting, mid-year leadership reflections, and a series highlighting future opportunities to serve within CKI. Building a sustainable CKI extends beyond recruitment. It means helping members recognize their potential and find meaningful ways to continue serving. 7 years ago, someone held the door open for me and changed the trajectory of my service journey. Today, I'm here because of the difference that one person can make. If elected as your International Vice President, I hope to continue holding that door open for others by empowering leaders, strengthening the systems that support our members, and foster an environment where members choose to join, remain, and grow within CKI. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharda. At this time, we will now begin the 3-minute question period. First question, looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring long-term sustainability for CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted and or elevated to facilitate growth?
I would say that one of CKI's greatest strengths is that leadership is accessible. That was certainly true for me. Each opportunity that I pursued was because someone encouraged me to take that step. So, as International Vice President, I would work alongside our Membership Development and Education Committee to elevate member stories through spotlights and alumni panels while intentionally promoting opportunities such as international committees, scholarships, and leadership experiences. I would also support initiatives that help members understand how they can continue growing in CKI. So, because when members recognize that they recognize the value of their own experiences and can envision a future for themselves within our organization, they naturally become our strongest advocates in encouraging others to do so as well.
Thank you. Question 2. While CKI successfully ended the 2024 to 25 service year with membership growth and a record number of new charters and reactivations, our organization continues to struggle with decreasing club size. How can CKI effectively balance both the quantity and quality of our clubs as they're being formed, maintained, and sustained?
As a chartering president, I understand both the excitement and the challenges that come with building something from the ground up. While new charters and increasing membership numbers are very important for celebrating, sustainability begins long before a charter certificate happens. We need to ensure that clubs have the mentorship, transition resources, and leadership support to thrive after their first year of joining CKI. As International Vice President, I would encourage partnerships between emerging and established clubs and create opportunities for clubs to exchange their successful retention strategies, which will help support them, and also support resources that help leaders foster meaningful member experiences. Because our goal should be to cultivate clubs where members feel invested and excited to continue building something meaningful together.
Question 3. If elected as CKI International Vice President, one of your primary responsibilities will include leading and supporting the international committees, an important component for executing international initiatives. What is one significant change you'd like to make to the current structure of our international committees, and why?
One significant change that I would make is incorporating a required legacy project into each international committee structure. At the beginning of the service year, committees would identify a tangible deliverable aligned with their goals that could continue benefiting members long after the year has ended. For example, the Kiwanis Family Relations Committee would develop resources that support Key Club members transitioning into CKI, while for the Awards and Recognition Committee, they could create mentorship initiatives that encourage first-time applicants to pursue recognition opportunities. By embedding that sustainability and intentional outcomes into the committee structure, we can definitely ensure that the work of our committees continue strengthening CKI for years to come.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Shraddha. At this time, we will now begin transitioning to our final candidate for International Vice President. Shraddha, please go ahead and return to the breakout room.
So, am I good to go, Jonathan?
Oops, sorry, you beat me to it. 1 second. We should be ready in just a moment. Okay, perfect. At this time, we will now hear from our fourth and final candidate for the office of International Vice President, Dylan Weinrich. Dylan, you may provide your remarks whenever you're ready. Your time will begin whenever you start speaking.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thank you, Jonathan. And with that, hey y'all. For those of you who I haven't gone to meet yet, my name is Dylan Weinrich. I'm going to my senior year at Louisiana State University, and I've had the pleasure of serving as the governor this past year of the Louisiana Mississippi West Tennessee District, and I'm honored to be running to serve you all as your next international vice president. And that's because when I first joined this organization, I could have never imagined myself running for such a position, which granted, who can, right? But that's because when I first got onto campus at LSU, there was no CKI club. But thankfully, being fresh out of Key Club, I took a chance and filled out the little reach out to us box at the bottom of the CKI website, for those of you that have seen that. And from there, I got connected with my wonderful district governor at the time, Shannon, who supported me over the 2 year process of chartering my home club. She then appointed me to be a lieutenant governor and inspired me to run for district governor. From then, I was able to charter 2 new clubs in my district and lift my district from being at risk of undistricting into good standing, which it hadn't been in for years. As a result of these experiences, I know the struggles of our organization is experiencing. I know how it feels to be the struggling president of a brand new club, and I know how it feels to be the governor of a provisional district. More importantly, I have firsthand experience in overcoming these issues. By creating international programs and focuses that set a foundation of success at the club level, we can allow our organization to grow and thrive like never before. Well, I outline a lot of these specific plans in my candidate literature and through my plan Grow, and I'll continue to speak about them more during my questioning. If you have any questions about my platform or plans I have for this upcoming year, feel free to reach out to me or speak to me at Icon. With that, I look forward to answering these questions and getting to meet more of you at Icon in just a few weeks. With that, I yield the rest of my time to questions, and thank you all.
Thank you, Dylan. At this time, we will now begin the 3-minute question period. Question 1. Looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring the long-term sustainability of CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted and or elevated to facilitate growth?
Absolutely. So growth, of course, throughout my experience in CKI has been a major focus, whether it has been growing my home club, growing my division, and growing my district as governor. So through that, I've gotten a lot of experience both in what does work in terms of growth in our organization and also what does not work. And so there are a few things that I'd hope to facilitate as international vice president at the international level and also at the club level to help facilitate our organization's success and what really is one of the most fundamental parts of our organization. So the first, the most straightforward, I guess I would say, is working with our Kiwanis staff members to elevate our marketing resources. I think the unfortunate reality right now is that our marketing is a little detached from our base. I think that shows the engagement we see with a lot of our CKI international Instagram pages and resources. So I think by making the resources more known and more accessible, more relevant to the current CKI experience, at the same time elevating our social media input, we can make more people interested in the organization and allow more members to have a more thorough knowledge of what we're doing at the international level. I also hope to create more programs for members to get engaged at the club level. I think we have a lot of great programs that we work with here at the international level, but when it comes to how we actually allow our clubs to engage with those partners, it sort of falls short and often only gets utilized by district leadership and international leadership. And I also hope to promote what we do have at the international level. We have a lot of really cool discounts and things we provide to members that the vast majority of members simply don't know about. And so as vice president, my hope would be to change that.
Thank you. Question 2. While CKI successfully ended the 2024 to 25 service year with membership growth and a record number of new charters and reactivations, our organization continues to struggle with decreasing club size. How can CKI effectively balance both the quantity and quality of our clubs as they're being formed, maintained, and sustained?
Yeah, that's absolutely been a major focus for me as governor, with us having to grow so much, both in membership in our active clubs and in creating new clubs. And it definitely is a struggle. Speaking as someone who created my own home club, it was not easy at all first starting off. And so that's exactly what I try to change as international vice president. Maybe it would be either using my experience and the experience of, many other of our district international leaders to create a clear resource guide that we can provide to those both working to charter and those that are in brand newly chartered CKI clubs to help them have a better understanding of where to start off. We have some resources and clear expectations of what it takes to charter a club. And I remember it was, pretty straightforward to follow those. But once my club is chartered, I was still left with so many questions. What does a CKI meeting even look like? What do I do at a CKI meeting? How do I find service projects? What service projects make sense for my club in general? And, I had even less of an idea of what was going on at the international level. Even as governor, I still didn't know things when I went to Icon, like Next Up. I didn't know about any of the discounts. It wasn't until Gatsby that I became familiar with a lot of these things. And by that point, it was after I would have been able to really effectively implement those as a club officer. So I hope to really focus on providing those resources and making it clear to club leaders through both a guide that we can provide to them and hopefully through calls with both them and district leadership along with trustees. My other hope with that would be, I would say, to work with our trustees and governors to sort of highlight those clubs that may be struggling or at risk in different districts. Speaking as a governor, and I'm sure if there's other district leaders on this call, there's some clubs every year that you can sort of point at as maybe being at risk of losing membership or shrinking or not paying dues. And so by pinpointing those, staying up to date with those with trustees, we can ensure their success and be able to pinpoint what do we need to do for those clubs, what can we provide to them, translate that to the international level, and make it so much easier for those clubs to be successful.
Perfect. And then question 3. If elected as CKI International Vice President, one of your primary responsibilities will include leading and supporting the international committees, an important component for executing international initiatives. What is one significant change you'd like to make to the current structure of our international committees and why?
Okay, yeah. So I'm going to squeeze in 2 changes just because I want to. So my first change, very straightforward. I want to open committee leadership up to all members of our organization. I don't believe it should be closed off just to trustees to be able to chair committees. I think we have so many amazing leaders in our organization. This call is a testament to that. So the more we can open up those big leadership positions at the international level, the more success we can see in our committees. And the second change, the much larger change, would be hopefully throughout the next year, of course, in accordance to our bylaws, and hopefully through changing our bylaws, able to transition to more of a task force implemented system as opposed to a committee system. I remember when I was speaking to now the immediate past international vice president, Madison Burt, she told me one of her biggest regrets as international vice president was trying the committee system because it had failed in the past. She was told not to do it, and she tried it anyway. And through that, she sort of laid out a framework of, well, what can be successful. And I think by creating a task force system, which would be task force set every year by the International Committee and International Board on issues and topics that are important to the international, to our organization that year, we can open it up to more members to do things that are important to our organization, needed, and things that can be effective, along with, of course, the things that need to be done every year, such as ICON and working with our special partners, things like that. I also hope to open that up.
That is time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dylan. At this time, that marks the end of our segment for the international vice president candidates. At this time, all vice president candidates will be welcomed back to the main session, and we will begin transitioning to our international trustee candidates. At this time, once again, we greatly appreciate everyone's patience as we get the breakout rooms officially set up. Okay, thank you so much for everyone's patience. Before we continue, I just want to emphasize, I know it's been quite a long call and we still have a lot of candidates to get through. Please know that we are incredibly thankful for all of you guys being patient with us and sticking with us. And we're also super proud of all of the candidates for international president and vice president that have had the chance to speak so far. With that, at this time, we will now transition to officially hear from our candidates for international trustee in alphabetical order. Our first international trustee candidate will be Cesar Ariojas Ocampo. Cesar, you may provide your remarks whenever you're ready. Your time will begin when you officially start speaking.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Cesar, and I'm a current health sciences student at the University of Waterloo. I was the past Secretary Treasurer at the Eastern Canada District and have spent nearly 7 years in the K family. I have been incredibly fortunate to learn from an incredible district team and district trustee. Much of my vision for this position has been shaped by their leadership and values, so a big special thank you to my former district governor Shraddha and current district trustee Elizabeth. When building my campaign, I kept coming back to one central idea, and that was presence. As President Jonathan has reiterated to us candidates, one of our greatest responsibilities is bridging the gap between the international and district levels so that support is felt everywhere. If elected district trustee, I want to be a familiar and reliable resource for every district that I serve, whether you're a club member, officer, district board member, or district governor. As such, my central goal as trustee is to attend each district's monthly board meetings, not only to specifically understand their successes and challenges to the local level, but to ensure that they know that somebody is consistently investing in their growth. I also want to strengthen the relationships between our districts. Too often, ideas and connections remain within district borders. In establishing monthly inter-district town halls, I hope to create opportunities for collaboration, networking, and shared feedback so districts can learn from one another and grow together. I also hope to expand these conversations by inviting members from other branches of the Kiwanis family, such as Key Club and Kiwanis, to foster stronger connections and build an even greater sense of community. Coming from the Eastern Canada District, I've seen firsthand that while clubs may follow similar processes for memberships and dues and other such, every campus has different needs. When I helped recharter my university's CKI club, we were building from the ground up. One of our biggest challenges was recruiting members and collecting dues without much of an established reputation on campus. That experience taught me that growth looks different for every club. To better support my districts, I want to work alongside club and district leaders to develop university-specific roadmaps that capture current and past successful approaches to membership growth, fundraising, and service. My hope is that future leaders can build on these proven experiences confidently rather than having to start from scratch every single time. At its core, this position has always been about supporting people and supporting your districts. As a former district secretary treasurer and club president, I've experienced many of the highs and challenges that come with leadership in CKI. If elected, I hope to be someone who listens, shows up, and helps others succeed in a way that is appropriate to their circumstance. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you, Cesar. At this time, we will now begin the 3-minute question period. First, looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring the long-term sustainability of CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted and or elevated to facilitate growth?
I think a huge aspect that can certainly be leveraged is the power of social media. The reality is that many university students want to be a part of reputable and exciting communities on campus. And the best way to showcase our CKI clubs in that manner is by really putting ourselves out there. This is incredibly applicable to all sorts of aspects like improving event attendance, improving membership growth, and even incentivizing paying membership dues. There should be a much stronger focus on creating content roadmaps to ensure that there's a consistent and healthy stream of content going out for each club in every district. Social media algorithms are largely built on quantity over quality, and we should be leveraging that knowledge. I hope to work alongside club leaders to develop these maps in a feasible but effective way in order to really get their clubs out there.
Thank you. Question 2. If elected as a CKI International Trustee, one of your primary responsibilities will include supporting your assigned districts and district governors. However, districts often require varying levels of support. How should CKI balance supporting large, established districts while still ensuring that smaller districts receive adequate attention?
In order to learn the levels of support that are required per district, regardless of whether they're small or big, communications and presence are key. And I think a baseline should be established at the beginning of every service year with district trustees directly reaching out to each district leader and having just an open conversation around their expectations surrounding support and what they want the connection to look like to the greater organization. And by creating a sort of comprehensive record of each district's experience, district trustees can create a plan where resources are allocated equitably, with respect to what each club has honestly shared that they need. This comprehensive plan can always be reevaluated if conflict or modifications can arise, and it can always be overhauled, like maybe at the middle of the service year with newfound discussions with each district leader.
Thank you. Question 3. While candidates often run with ambitious goals, implementation and execution of ideas on the international level can vary significantly when compared to the club or district level. If a component of your current international trustee campaign ends up being unfeasible, how will you still work to maximize your impact towards CKI?
Realistically, it's basically a given that things aren't always going to go according to plan. I think the most important aspect of maximizing my impact is always being transparent with my districts. While I have a lot of ambitious goals, I understand that my districts will have priorities on which are necessary to implement or which ones should be implemented quickly. And in the event that parts of my campaign end up being unfeasible, I hope to have a transparent conversation with my districts about what they are looking to prioritize and how resources should be allocated to ensure that at the very least, the goals that are truly important to them are accomplished and that they're accomplished well.
Awesome. That's it for now. Thank you so much, Caesar. You're free to go ahead and rejoin your breakout room. At this time, we'll begin transitioning to our second trustee candidate. At this time, we will now hear from our second candidate for international trustee. Our second candidate is Jetta Briggs. Jetta, at this time, you may begin to provide your remarks. Your time will start whenever you officially begin speaking.
Hello, Circle K International. My name is Jetta Briggs, and I am currently a rising junior at Rocky Mountain College in the mighty Montana district. I've been in the K family for 6 years. I first started in Key Club, and that experience was so fun and so exciting that I just had to continue on with CKI. This is why I chartered my home club at Rocky Mountain College and served as president for that first year. This last year, I also had the privilege of running as district governor for Montana. These experiences have really shaped who I am as a leader and have helped highlight how important it is mentoring and developing our leaders is for our engagement of our clubs. My main duty as trustee is to help and support other governors that are under my jurisdiction. My aim to do this by listening to their needs and connecting them with resources and people to help facilitate their goals. I also aim to thoughtfully look through their MRFs to try and adjust the support that they may need based off of the different aspects of their district. My other goals for international is to expand leadership resources like the GLC and virtual calls that the Membership Development and Educational Committee have put on this year. I also aim to educate members on these resources to continue their usefulness and ensure members are utilizing them. I also hope to further our connection by expanding the alumni network. My hope is to see more mentoring connection so individual members expand their network and feel uplifted by Circle K International. Lastly, I also hope to fill the gap between Key Club and Circle K International, as this helps with our membership growth. I would aim to see mentorship from current CKI members to rising freshmen, so that way their transition is a little bit easier. I believe these specific goals help further organizational goals such as membership growth and communication. My time as district governor and also chartering my club have taught me a lot about what it means and the difficulties that people will face. I hope these experiences and my aspirations for our organization will help propel me as a good trustee. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I cannot wait to see you all in Dallas.
Thank you, Jetta. At this time, we'll now begin the 3-minute Q&A period. Question 1, looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring the long-term sustainability of CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted and or elevated to facilitate growth?
I think the main thing that helps us continue our growth is our engagement with our members. And members tend to be more engaged when they have things to do. This is why I think expanding leadership opportunities within clubs, districts, and international will help facilitate our membership growth. Making sure that they are connected not only within their clubs and districts, but also internationally will help them feel more uplifted by Circle K. I think our alumni network is a wonderful way to do this, along with the virtual calls that we've been putting on. These have been wonderful tools that we've used, and I think the further expansion and education of these resources will help us facilitate that growth.
Thank you. Question 2, if elected as a CKI International trustee, one of your primary responsibilities will include supporting your assigned districts and district governors. However, districts often require varying levels of support. How should CKI balance supporting large established districts while still ensuring that smaller districts receive adequate attention?
Absolutely. Being a trustee is definitely an interesting aspect between these large and small districts. I personally come from a very small district. The way that we do stuff is a lot different than, say, Carolina's district does. And I think understanding how each individual district operates, potentially even reading through their bylaws and their governance, would be a great way to help connect with them. And also just meeting governors where they are. Some governors need more support than others. And I think if we understand and communicate effectively about these needs, then it'd be a lot easier to facilitate and offer more support to maybe governors that need a little bit more help.
Awesome. And then question 3. While candidates often run with ambitious goals, implementation and execution of ideas on the international level can vary significantly when compared to the club or district level. If a component of your current international trustee campaign ends up being unfeasible, how will you work to still maximize your impact towards CKI?
I would say quite a few goals when I was first talking, and like a lot of goals that get spoken about when we are here for elections, they often go unnoticed or get squashed by other more important things. I think understanding larger organizational goals, such as membership growth, is crucial. So that way, when we are working on more tactical things, we know exactly what to pivot to and what to adapt to as we go along. There's going to be a lot of changes throughout Circle K, and I think being able to be flexible in what we are accomplishing is really the most important. And I think understanding those larger goals for stability will be the most important thing.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shetta. You're all done. Feel free to head back to your breakout room. At this time, we'll now begin transitioning to our next international trustee candidate. At this time, we will now proceed with our third candidate for international trustee, Kirsta Marie Fairbrother. Kirsta, you may provide your remarks whenever you're ready. Your time will begin when you officially start speaking.
Thank you, Jonathan. Hello, Circle K International. My name is Kirsta Marie Fairbrother, and I am a junior at Merrimack College studying chemistry and management. My journey here has been a long one, starting 8 years ago in 7th grade when I chartered my local middle school builders club. I continued to serve by joining my high school's Key Club expanding my leadership responsibilities by serving as vice president my sophomore year, advancing to lieutenant governor my junior year, and concluding as district treasurer in my senior year. Within CKI, I have chartered the Circle K Club at Merrimack College, serving as district events chair, and am currently on the membership development and education committee. All three of these roles have pushed me as a leader and have taught me the values of perseverance, diligence, and compassion. And it is these values that I look forward to bringing to the International Board. As an international trustee, I want to strengthen the connection between districts by encouraging governors and board members to collaborate by sharing ideas and goals in meetings and in group chats. I also want to connect our members to the international level by publicizing and enhancing attendance at the monthly socials. Additionally, I want to provide every member with as many opportunities as possible by promoting international events, showcasing clubs and sharing district accomplishments through monthly newsletters, and keeping districts aware of important events such as the monthly socials or the due dates for the Tomorrow Fund and CKI scholarships. I will also assist my assigned districts with membership and club growth and help governors to create personalized growth plans to promote engagement and retention of current and prospective members. Another goal I have is to make a how-to guide for potential clubs looking to charter to make the charting process more straightforward. Furthermore, I plan on supporting our districts by holding monthly meetings with governors to reflect on goals and assess progress, encouraging clubs to plan and host meaningful interclub events, and promote fundraiser ideas that contribute to our international projects such as the Nature Conservancy and Brick by Brick. In my candidate literature, I shared a quote from Albert Einstein: "I strive not to be a success, but rather to be of value." I'm in front of you today because I truly want to make a difference within this organization. I want to encourage new leaders, support current leaders, and learn from our past leaders. Ultimately, I want to strengthen our connections with each other, share more opportunities, encourage growth, and provide support to our governors and members. I'm committed to leading our organization with passion and dedication toward our core values of leadership, fellowship, and service. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsta. At this time, we'll now begin the 3-minute question period. Question 1, looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring the long-term sustainability of CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted and or elevated to facilitate growth?
Yeah. So I feel that the most important aspect of CKI that we can promote is our core values of leadership, fellowship, and service. By supporting our district governors and district boards, that will elevate our leadership, promoting our monthly socials supports our fellowship, and encouraging fundraisers for international projects would enhance our service. Of course, these are just a few examples, but by continuing to enhance these values, I feel that positive growth would follow.
Perfect. Number 2, if elected as a CKI International trustee, one of your primary responsibilities will include supporting your assigned districts and district governors. However, districts often require varying levels of support. How should CKI balance supporting large established districts while still ensuring that smaller districts receive adequate attention?
So one of the biggest things that CKI can do to support both the larger and smaller districts is to keep consistent communication and remember that each district will need varying levels of support. If elected, I plan on helping each of my individual districts set personalized goals, ensuring that each district has a proper plan in place for growth. And it would also allow me to understand which areas each district may need help in, allowing me to give adequate attention and support to each individual district.
Perfect. Question 3. While candidates often run with ambitious goals, implementation and execution of ideas on the international level can vary significantly when compared to the club or district level. If a component of your current international trustee campaign ends up being unfeasible, how will you still work to maximize your impact towards CKI?
So I feel like even though I do have a wide variety of goals, my main goal is to support our districts and our organization. If a certain goal of mine does not work or is, as you say, unfeasible, I would plan to adjust my goal in a way that would make it feasible without losing the integrity of my original goal. If one of my goals does not work altogether, I want to work even harder on my other goals and potentially work with other trustees to set goals that will make the most impact within our organization, within CKI.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kirsta. You're free to return to the breakout room. And at this time, we'll now begin transitioning to our next candidate. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
At this time, we will now begin hearing from our next candidate for international trustee, Ray Hoshi. Ray, you may provide your remarks whenever you're ready. Your time will begin when you officially start speaking.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for gathering at late at night and in the evening to learn about our future leaders and amendments that we'll be talking about. For everyone who doesn't know me yet, my name is Ray Hoshi, and it's both an honor and a privilege to stand before you as a candidate for Circle K International Trustee. I'm currently a third-year transfer student from the University of California, Irvine, and the immediate past member recognition chair for the California Hawaii District, and a distinguished club president at my former community college. I also have experience working on a division committee and a club A board. And however, beyond any title, I'm just another member whose life been greatly impacted by Circle K. When I first joined Circle K, I was searching for a way to serve my community and to gain some volunteer hours. That's the truth. But what I found was much more than hours to put on my application or my resume. And besides the leadership position, I found my community. In high school, I moved from a different country. I feel very alienated and I feel out of touch to the people around me. But through Circle K, I was able to bond to my passion with other members and foster a new environment and finding where I truly belong. And through this organization, I met individuals who greatly inspire me to this day, support me, and help me to become the leader who I am right now. An other lesson Circle K has taught me, one stands above the rest, and that's unity. Unity is what truly allows members from different backgrounds, cultures, and to cross borders to come together with a common purpose. It's what turns small acts of service into large, meaningful change within our community. It's truly what Circle K International holds such a lasting impact across the globe. And as your international trustee, I want to strengthen that unity across our organization. First, I'll work to improve connections between our districts by encouraging cross-district socials, collaborative service opportunities, and spaces where members can learn from one another. From my personal experiences, the best ideas I got during my presidency and my member recognition chair was sharing experiences from other members and leaders. And I want this to spread across the international and for every district to be able to talk to each other to create this larger Circle K family. Second, building upon the shared experience, I will want to advocate for a quarterly president council. I truly believe in the English pyramid where the members stand in front and who the club serves the members directly. So creating opportunities for more club leaders to exchange ideas, discuss challenges, and celebrate successes, I think was truly important. Number third, I want to diversify and expand our resources so they better address the unique needs of our members. As we all know, whether it's from newly chartered clubs, small clubs seeking growth, or clubs looking to increase retention, our clubs do not all fit in a cookie model format. And lastly, I want to ensure that first-time members, transfer students like myself, and those attending events for the first time feel welcome and supported. We often talk about recruitment, and the true growth comes from the people helping that they belong. When members feel interconnected, they stay, they lead, and inspire others.
That is time.
Thank you, Ray. At this time, we'll now proceed to the 3 minutes Q&A period. Question 1, looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring the long-term sustainability of CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted and or elevated to facilitate growth?
Thank you for the question, Jonathan. I think an aspect of Circle K that can promote is to increase our under charter strength and provincial districts in order to stronger build that unity that I mentioned earlier. If only a certain top club is out there leading with no unity among the smaller clubs, this entire organization will just fall apart and be disarranged. Including all the members from across the globe through the provincial districts and uniting as one will increase the strength of our organizations, and we can provide a fair opportunity to all, utilizing our scholarships, committees, and much better improved communications.
Perfect. Question 2, if elected as a CKI International Trustee, one of your primary responsibilities will include supporting your assigned districts and district governors. However, districts often require varying levels of support. How should CKI balance supporting large established districts while still ensuring that smaller districts receive adequate attention?
Thank you for the question. So across this international organizations, we have all these districts, but what I truly believe is unites us is the home club. When you, as the international president, they go to their home club meeting. That's where we all are united. So I believe by assessing the fundamental needs from our club level directly first, we can create these strong foundations where we can build upon our districts and our international level. So I would like to increase the President Council monthly newsletter to make sure that I'm understanding what their need is and their voices are heard at the international level. Thank you.
Perfect. Question 3. While candidates often run with ambitious goals, implementation and execution of ideas on the international level can vary significantly when compared to the club or district level. If a component of your current international trustee campaign ends up being unfeasible, how will you work to still maximize your impact with CKI?
Thank you for your question. So I think I want to take a step back for this question. I think what's important for having a goal is having a very organized and defined goal. The reason why I mentioned this is, let's say, again, if part of it becomes unfeasible, you can work on other parts of that goal. And then somehow, even if one aspect fails, you can possibly take a detour and still achieve that goal. Even if that goal is unachievable, I believe having a strong relative other goals is truly important. As in, if the goal is certainly unattainable in a whole, if you move on to the next and have multiple goals lined up, you can work widely and achieve great success. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ray. You're free to return back to the breakout room and we'll begin transitioning to our final candidate for tonight. Okay, at this time, we will now hear from our final candidate for the evening and our final candidate for the office of International Trustee. Our final candidate is Shanoya James. Shanoya, you may provide your remarks whenever you're ready.
Good evening, my CKI family. My name is Shanoya James, proudly representing the great Caribbean District, and I'm honored to sit before you as a candidate for the office of International Trustee. Circle K International has never just been an organization to me. It has been a place where I discovered my voice, built lifelong friendships, and learned that true leadership is service in action. What began as a desire to serve in my first year of university has grown into a deep commitment I've never imagined. I'm currently pursuing a Bachelor's of Science in Food Service Management at the University of Technology, Jamaica. My studies alongside my leadership experience have strengthened my skills in teamwork, adaptability, and servant leadership, qualities I will carry into this role. Within CKI, I have served as vice president for my home club, lieutenant governor of the PAM division in the Caribbean district, and I've also contributed both on the DCON and the DLFC committee, helping to create meaningful spaces to educate, inspire, and connect members. Beyond CKI, I have served as the deputy director of community service within my university student union, where I've strengthened my ability to communicate effectively, collaborate across diverse teams, and lead initiatives that make lasting impacts. These experiences have taught me that leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room. It is about listening, building trust, and creating opportunities for others to grow. If elected as your international trustee, here are my pillars to serve. S, strengthen membership engagement by creating intentional spaces where members feel connected, valued, motivated to remain active within their clubs and districts. E, empower leadership development opportunities and intentional capacities building for members at every level. R, reinforce communication channels by building clear, consistent, and transparent communication that flows both ways between clubs, districts, and international board. V, value service impact by encouraging meaningful community-centered initiative that reflects CKI mission and creates measurable change. E, expand collaboration and unity by fostering stronger cross district partnership, shared projects, and more unified global CK experience. My vision is simple to create Circle K International where every member feels seen, every club feels supported, and every district feels heard and valued. I'm ready to listen to you guys, collaborate, and to serve with purpose, authenticity, and I respectfully ask for your trust and confidence. Vote for Shanoya, your international trustee. Together,
That is time.
Thank you, Shanoya. At this time, we will now begin the 3-minute question period. 1. Looking ahead at the 2026 to 27 service year, membership growth, recruitment, and retention are vital towards ensuring the long-term sustainability of CKI. In your opinion, what aspects of CKI can be promoted and or elevated to facilitate growth?
thank you so much for that question. So, for me, one of the greatest benefits of CKI is networking opportunities that it provides. Through CKI and Kiwanis, members gain access to diverse network, professionals, community leaders, educators, entrepreneurs, and various fields. These connections can open so much doors for internship, career guidance, and professional development opportunities and lifelong mentorship. And for me personally, CKI has been a life-changing experience. It has allowed me to develop my leadership skills, build meaningful relationships across the Caribbean and above, and also to discover my ability through positive change.
Thank you. Next, if elected as a CK International trustee, one of your primary responsibilities will include supporting your assigned districts and district governors. However, districts often require varying levels of support. How should CKI balance supporting large established districts while still ensuring that smaller districts receive adequate attention?
Okay, so for larger districts, it is important to maintain visible presence whenever it is possible to attend in major district events. And if not, pre-recorded to ensure that members still feel supported and connected with the international board. This will help to strengthen relationships and remind members that their work is valued. And for developing weaker district is also consistent. Consistency is key. I would encourage regular meetings with the district governors and the different committees to better understand their challenges that they are facing within their district, and wherever support is needed, I will give of myself. Those conversations allows us to collaborate on solutions, share resources, and also provide guidance where it is necessary. And sometimes districts don't need someone to fix their problem. They need someone who is willing to listen and to support and walk alongside with them as they grow as a district.
Perfect. And then finally, question 3. While candidates often run with ambitious goals, implementation and execution of ideas on the international level can vary significantly when compared to the club or district level. If a component of your current international trustee campaign ends up being unfeasible, how will you work to still maximize your impact towards CKI?
Okay, so if I had to answer in one word, it would be membership. CKI is critical. It's a critical point where membership plays a major role in shaping the future of our organization, which plays within the K family, because that is one of our biggest indicators for success. And for me, seeing membership growth within our districts I'm assigned to, I would support. Even if one initiative that I plan doesn't go as expected, my focus will always return to membership growth and retention, because at the end of the day, members are at the heart of this organization, and ensuring that students are joining, engaging, and finding value in this club, which I believe is where our attention is mostly needed.
Thank you, Shanoya. With that, that's the end to our last candidate and the last Q&A. At this time, I'm going to start closing the breakout rooms, and all candidates will be back in the main session within the next 60 seconds. Please give us a few seconds as we're getting everyone back in the main room. Okay, with that, I believe we should have everyone back in the main session. First and foremost, I would like to be the first to say congratulations to all of our candidates. You all did an absolutely phenomenal job tonight. Please give them an amazing round of applause. As you guys can see, we had a pretty long call, but we had the amazing opportunity to hear from so many of our candidates seeking international office. For those of you that don't know, this is actually a substantial increase in the amount of international engagement that we're seeing ahead of the 2026 to 27 service year, including even more than double the amount of candidates we have for last year. So from our end, please know that the current outgoing international board is extremely excited to have such an amazing batch of successors lined up, and we're really excited to see what comes next for the future of CKI. For all of the candidates, once again, great job. You guys did absolutely amazing. To all of you that will be serving as a delegate at International Convention, please remember that you will still have a chance to meet these delegates and hear from them at International Convention during district caucusing. Based on their answers and based on their speeches tonight, we encourage you to go back and talk with your club leaders, club members, as well as district leaders to figure out what questions you may want to prepare for them ahead of district caucusing. District caucusing will be happening live in International Convention, and you guys will each have the ability to ask your own questions to these candidates to learn even more about their platforms as well as their goals and visions for the future of CKI. Before we officially adjourn tonight's session, I wanted to make a really quick and important announcement about House of Delegates that's taking place on July 3rd at International Convention. It's really, really important for those that will be attending and voting to ensure that you are officially registered to be a delegate. You must be registered as a delegate ahead of International Convention in order to vote during House of Delegates. I've just gone ahead and pasted the link to the official Cognito form. Please ensure that you go ahead and fill that out as soon as possible. Additionally, for anyone that will be voting on behalf of a club, you may be required to receive documentation from your club president, basically confirming your role as a voting delegate. All that you need for that is a simple letter confirming that you're a member in good standing and will be a voting delegate on behalf of your club. Additionally, other notes include that everyone attending House of Delegates must remember that our standing roles do not allow the use of technology like computers and cellular devices. With this in mind, attendees are strongly encouraged to print their own copies of the amendment packets as well as the candidate packets prior to Dallas. CKI will provide a limited number of shareable paper copies, but we highly encourage everyone to bring their own if needed. After this session, please feel free to stay on the call to meet with me if you have any questions. If you're not sure if you're registered for convention or have any questions about being a certified delegate, feel free to stay behind as this will be your last chance. With that, I now accept a motion to officially adjourn the Caucus of the Whole 2026. Do I have a motion from anyone in the audience?
I, Josiah Anderson, so move.
Thank you, Josiah. Do we have a second?
I, Brandon Denson, second.
Perfect. With that in mind, that's officially it for tonight. And I, President Jonathan Huang, officially adjourn Caucus of the Whole 2026.